Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're really happy to be here today to present you our white paper written in collaboration with AI for Health on the impact of AI on drug development and more specifically on clinical trials. So we've been working on this for the last few months and we made it as activable as possible with some concrete use case, an ecosystem mapping and finally the challenges to overcome. Joining me for this discussion, so we have Luca Mollo, as you say, Vice President and Medical Director for France at Pfizer, who kindly contributed to the white paper by sharing his insight on AI and clinical trial. And next to him, Thomas Filaire, as you also said, healthcare data and AI transformation partner at Artefact, and also specialized in the healthcare industry for the last 8 years. He also co-wrote the white paper. And myself, Léa Giroulet, I will be the moderator, and I also contributed to this white paper. With all of that being said, we can start with the first question with you, Thomas. Can you tell us a bit more about the Artefact motivation to write this white paper?
Sure, Léa. Good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I'd like to start by saying that I and the entire writing committee is very proud to announce the release of this white paper today in the context of AI for Health, which over the years has become one of the main flagship events for healthcare in France and in Europe. And our motivation to kickstart this work actually stems from 3 key observations. First, rising demand. We, as a consulting firm, are getting more and more solicited by our clients to engage discussions, kickstart projects in this particular area of data and AI for R&D. So within the R&D part of the healthcare value chain, confirming a growing momentum in this field. Second reason is that data and AI and R&D are of utmost strategic importance for pharma, especially knowing that the potential of AI and generative AI can lead to clinical trial duration being shortened by up to 50%, with 2 key major outcomes. First, the opportunity to bring new innovative therapies to patients in needs faster than ever before, I would say. And second, the opportunity for pharma companies to remain competitive, especially considering the limited duration of patent exclusivity. And the third reason to work on this white paper is that it's very actual. I mean, the transformation, the use cases that we have identified and that we are discussing in this white paper are basically taking place today. All those use cases, they are either already being implemented or already positioned in the mid-term roadmap of our client.
Thank you, Thomas. Indeed, your last point of the result is key. They are very promising for the futures. Building on that, Luca, can you tell us more where Pfizer stands as a company in this field?
Yes, thank you for asking me to contribute to this white paper. It was really interesting. So I would like to share just some examples, but I'd like to say first that these arguments have been also discussed this morning in the main stage for the people that attended the sessions this morning. But for the pharmaceutical industry, what is important is to bring on the market very quickly the innovation, the new drugs, and even more to give the possibility to have these drugs, the access for the patients. And especially for the disease where we have a lack of treatment or effective treatments, or where the medical needs are huge. So in Pfizer, to accelerate this, we are using AI for analyzing data sets, of course, because we have the amount of data now that have been processed, identify drug targets, predict efficacy, optimize the development, but also to screen compounds that can be used in the pharma industry. So I can give you an example that is a lot of you knows now because we were one of the major actors during the COVID pandemic. is the fact that while we were developing a new vaccine for try to counterpart the pandemic of the COVID, we wanted to develop a antiviral, an oral antiviral, to alleviate the pressure on the health system and the hospitals. I reinforce this. I was talking about oral because the aim was to have this drug available as soon as possible for the people that was affected, and to avoid them to go to the hospital, to the intensive care units. And for doing that, so if we were using the traditional methods, so we had to screen at least 3 million of molecules, spend 4 years probably for doing that with the traditional methods. And thanks to the AI, we were able to screen only 600 molecules and have the possibility to put in the market a new drug in 4 months. So this is a demonstration on the huge potential of the AI in accelerating the research and drug discovery to be made available for the patients in timely manner. So together with this, what is important to mention is also that AI, it was important, but the pandemic accelerated also the new methods for clinical trial methodology. For example, say, decentralized clinical trials, also remote monitoring. And together, all this, we were able to accelerate the clinical development phases. To give you an example, and you can see this on the screen as well. So in 2019, we had an average of 8.6 years for developing a new drug in a clinical trials. And when I talk of clinical trials, I mean, so the first in human until the market approval. So, and we moved from 8.6 years to 4.8 years in 2022. So it's a huge step.
Thank you, Luca. It's really impressive, and such in contrast with what we often hear about drug development, saying that it's more expensive and longer, also known as Ehrum's law. So it's very interesting to see some concrete example challenging this reputation. To be even more concrete, Thomas, can you tell us how you structured your research for this white paper on the main use case that you identified?
Yes, certainly. So one of our mission was to have this white paper quite easy to digest, easy to read. And so we had the challenge to provide a clear and focused framework. And in order to do so, we basically structured the clinical trial value chain into 3 key phases that you can see here on your screen. And for each of those phases, then we initiated a series of interviews with a diverse set of heterogeneous stakeholders, ranging from pharma companies, tech providers, startups, legal experts to venture capitalists. And it's been a very exciting phase of this work where we could capture very interesting use cases relevant for each of those 3 key phases. So the first one is the clinical trial design, which is all about, which is focused on optimizing study protocols in order to improve efficiency and outcome. Maybe one example or one use case that I found particularly interesting is the using of LLMs, so large language models, in order to extract information, safety and efficacy informations from previous clinical trial abstracts. This has proven to be of tremendous help for clinical trial designers in order to capitalize on what has been done in the past, I would say, in order to understand how other researchers have structured their trials, which interventions were used, and so on and so forth. So really an efficient way to shorten and streamline the trial design process with the support of GenAI. Second key phase is all about patient recruitment and enrollment, which is a key success criteria for those clinical trials. And here again, to quote but one significant example, I would say, I really enjoy the use case around leveraging data and AI by analyzing patient demographics, medical history, adherence patterns, and so on and so forth from various data sources in order to come up with models helping in predicting patient dropout propensity. Which really helps the scientific teams involved in those clinical trials, making sure that we can keep as many patients from day one until the very last day of the trial, which is very key for the success of those initiatives. Sorry. And the third key phase is all around execution and management of those clinical trials. But on that one, I'll let Luca elaborate and share what PFIZER has been doing in this particular area.
Yeah, thank you. So you're right. So the clinical data management nowadays are facing unprecedented challenges with the rapid growth in data volume, and also the increasing number of sources where these data are produced. And as you know, when we have a clinical data set, we have to process this data, we have to clean this data, we have to store this data, we have to analyze then. And after that, so we have to write the conclusions and draft the reports that can be then submitted to the health authorities. So this is a labor-intensive and time-sensitive task. So it's important because if we are not able to do these tasks in the right manner, so it will be really penalizing for the clinical trials because the timelines will be longer, and for that, of course, we delay the submission to the health authorities. But at the end, so we are also penalizing the patients that are waiting for the innovation for the new drugs. So the AI was able to generate preliminary reports that are acceptable and complying with the constraining regulatory requirements for the health authorities. And for that, we need to have a rigorous report, accessible data that are usable for different stakeholders. At the end, the AI can contribute a lot to automate this data processing, to uncover hidden patterns, for example, to identify correlations that could have been missed by the traditional methods. All these approaches were fundamental even during the pandemic, for example, for the developing of our vaccine, because you remember that we went to the market very fast due to the rolling review that was granted by the health authorities in order to submit the data and to be analyzed in a faster manner. So after that, we were able to manage to draft this report, these conclusions, moving from 100 days to 48 days, so dividing by 2. This is very important for us, for the patients. So at the end, AI, what it can do, can of course help the researchers to focalize their resources, their time in analyzing and interpreting the data, rather than to manually drafting reports or whatever other documents.
Thank you, Luca. It's very impressive. I guess that everyone wants to jump on those kind of AI-driven analytics tool in order to have the same result. But concretely, Thomas, and very shortly with the minute left, can you tell us what are the main challenges to overcome in order to scale those innovations?
Indeed, we've discussed the opportunities, the value, the potential, but definitely it comes with several challenges to overcome along the way. There are many, but conscious of time, if I were to focus on just one or two, I would just try strongly, emphasize the importance of benefiting from a strong data foundations, so data governance, AI governance, which, in my opinion, in my experience, are really key success factors. While compliance project might be perceived in the first place as something costly, slow, difficult, boring, I don't know, it's been proven as a key enabler as a lever for quality, and as a potential for accelerator on the long term in order to activate and deliver more and more use cases at scale. So my key message here would be do not neglect your data foundations in order to onboard on this journey.
Thank you, Thomas. It's very clear. So I think that we are at the end of the time, so we don't have time for much question. But if you want to talk a bit more about that, do not hesitate to come to the stand with Artefact. We will be there. Don't forget to download the white paper. You have here a QR code. And once again, very thank you to all the Artefact and AI for Health team who contributed to the white paper. And if you have, once again, any questions on the content or feedback, do not hesitate. Thank you, Luca, very much for your contribution. And thank you, Thomas, for the insights.